This is one of our main collaborative projects, and we call it Por Vidx. There are these series of altar installations that we do, and oftentimes they come around the Day of the Dead.
Every time we make a new piece together, it's always like taking into account like that space, that community, and like thinking about that moment and using like new materials. And so each sculpture / altar is its own unique piece.
Yes. And they are inspired originally by altars that a lot of us have seen in our households or domestic spaces. Like my nana has one for my Uncle Sonny, who I'm remembering today on the altar space. And then with this project, we end up doing sort of rethinking the altar altogether in a lot of ways by putting things that are kind of maybe unexpected in the altar, but definitely always inspired by what a traditional altar, ofrenda might have, but then thinking about what we would like to bring. There are kind of levels of meanings for the things in the altar and the materials that are used, but it's so open to interpretation, and that's part of what we like to do with these pieces. Is it's that we want to invite everybody to interpret the piece in whichever way they come to it.
I'll just add to that quickly too. With this piece in particular, and like sort of building off of that idea, is that on the sort of far edges of this work, we just have these gold shapes as a place where people can come and be part of this piece, actually. And so there's little gold tacks on these gold shapes on either side, and that's one thing that I think we also hope that people will get from this piece, is that just as Libby said, you can make art out of anything, and also you can contribute to this piece as well and become part of it.
So growing up, Day of the Dead was celebrated in the neighborhood. So my family was always too busy to do it. Like, my mom went to school and worked, and I was the oldest of 8, so we didn't celebrate things too much, because I think there was just no time, right? But luckily, it was happening. There would be celebrations of Day of the Dead, and I knew about Day of the Dead, even though we didn't really celebrate it so much because of time constraints and stuff, but I knew about it because it was happening in the neighborhood. There would be skull paintings that would come out, or skull cookies that would be at the panaderia, right? So you would just I became aware of the aesthetics of Day of the Dead. But then in adulthood, I remember more now, there was a space for it in the mission, and people would dress up, and people would have the offerings and the altars, and I realized that it really was this special, beautiful time, and so it's this interesting thing, as a person who's Mexican American, the Day of the Dead for me is really different from how I see it portrayed maybe on the internet in Mexico, right? Because it's because my understanding of Day of the Dead was of this experience in this place in California, but now I understand it as this large cultural experience that happens in so many places, but it's probably different everywhere you go. So I think that's amazing. For me personally, I can give to my ancestors. It's like my ancestors worked so incredibly, they labored in this country in the fields, and like because of their hard work, I get to make art here. Like, what an amazing, mind-blowing, it gives me chills to think about the fact that, you know, all of their hard work lets me be the artist I am today here. It's just like, it's so beautiful to me, and just the whole, every piece, and like this one, the altars are definitely in some, like, an offering to my ancestors for sure. Oh, I mean, what an honor. No, it's so exciting. You know, I was lucky enough to come, we were both lucky enough to come to Museo, you know, before things closed down, and have been continuously inspired by the work that's been here. It really is work that I personally connect to, like, on, you know, I'm always really inspired by the work that's here. I love, so it's just such an honor to have work here, and to have been treated so well by everyone, and it's just been a really fantastic experience. Yeah, I'm like really happy, beaming. Yeah,
and it's like it's so grateful. And then also I think like it's so cool, like we had already been doing this project for a few years, and so it's like the perfect collaboration in that way too, to be able to have it here for Dia de los Muertos. It'll be like it's just like the perfect collaboration. It's so nice. Yeah.
And my ancestors would be so happy, and my family so proud. So it's very exciting.